What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the super naked section of this channel. So I've owned this bike now, the 2017 Yamaha FZ10 or MT10, whatever you want to call it, for about 7 months, and I've done a lot of mods to the bike, and I really haven't kept you guys up to date on everything I've done to it. So I'm gonna go through and show you guys everything I've done right now. This is how I found my FZ10. An old man's wet dream of a touring bike with a little bit of kick. I purchased the bike immediately and quickly began doing the Lord's work of making it into the street fighting badass you see before you today. I started with a 520 chain and sprocket conversion to save on rotating mass. The stock stainless steel header was swapped out for a titanium R1 unit. The catalytic converter was removed in favor of an acropovic titanium decat pipe. The stock mirrors were replaced with Moto Gadget units and Rhino Moto bar ends, so I no longer had to look at my elbows. The tank was wrapped with tech spec grips so I could drag knee for all that Instagram clout. I removed the boat anchor of a plate holder and installed a Blaster X taillight to handle the turn signals, and finally I painted it flat black and metallic gray for a little more flavor. All right, now that you guys are all up to date on the bike, here is the new goodies. The Austin Racing Belly Exit exhaust. So this exhaust in particular is handmade. They are very high quality, very nice exhaust systems. I've always wanted to pull the trigger on one of these. The main thing that stops me is they are made to order. So this exhaust in particular took about 6 months to get to me. Data order to when I got it was roughly about 6 months, which ironically they are made in the UK and I am in the US, and I got the exhaust like 2 days after they shipped it. So it's mainly an order to make kind of process as to why it takes so long. This is everything you get in the box. So you get your instructions here. Of course, the most important thing, you get stickers. So you get your stickers, your instructions. Sorry, those are kind of reflective. This is your silencer, which, let's be honest here, this exhaust is not going to be able to be on a track day that has noise ordinance regulations. Even with that, I don't even know why they send this, because it's probably outrageously loud even with that in there, but they send it anyways. These are the plugs, because we are not going to be using O2 sensors. Once you flash this bike, you don't use the O2 sensors, but it is nice they give you an adapter in there. I don't know if these will, yeah, see how you can kind of screw that apart. So if you do have another size O2 that will work with that, or it'll plug it completely, that is for your silencer to go into the tip. This is to attach to the back mounting location. It comes with the 2 clamps there and the clamp on the exhaust, which is kind of cool. It's hard to show, but it's actually kind of magnetic. I don't know, it's cool though. And I opted for the carbon fiber with the black tip. Very nice exhaust system, very, very quality. If you can see the welds on that, super, super nice. And like I said, these are all handmade, and they offer a laser etching. I didn't opt for that because it is a lot more expensive, but you can always get laser etched. You can get this whole thing in titanium. You can get the titanium in can, whatever way you want to do it. I just opted to go this route. So this is a belly exit exhaust. It's going to be extremely loud on the bike, but it's a street fighter bike. I'm pretty excited about it. So let's go ahead and yank off the current exhaust system. So my current titanium link pipe here, this is an acropovic link pipe. I could have done the acropovic end can, but I ended up not doing it because it's expensive and I'd already paid for the Austin Racing, and I knew I was going to do that. So I may end up getting one later on, or just keeping this setup just in case I do want to do track day on this bike. I can put this on there and be good to go. This is a stock titanium R1 header that I've sanded down, and it's colored out really, really nice. So all we're doing is taking off 2 clamps there, taking this back bolt off, and this whole assembly is going to come off. There's no O2s hooked up or anything. I've already removed those when I did the 2-wheel Dynoworks flash. So I'm gonna go ahead and yank that. Pretty easy stuff though. It should be pretty much a 10-minute install. Easy peasy. Okay, so I have these two laid out next to each other. I have the Akrapovic titanium link pipe and the Austin Racing Inconel link pipe. Now obviously this is much shorter because it's a belly exit versus the full length system, but the Inconel is supposed to dissipate heat better. It's what they use in racing like F1 and high-end applications like that. So it's supposed to be a better material. I don't know how much you're gonna actually see the difference on this application, but it's still very, very high quality, very nice, and it's supposed to blue out like this. Now, I'm gonna leave it in a raw finish like I did with this mid pipe, because on the system header, I actually sanded this down with a 320 grit sandpaper and left it raw finish so that it would match pretty well. Whereas like on my H2 over here, this is actually a full polish system. So see how you get more of a mirror effect, and the bluing and purpling kind of looks different on a polished system than it does on this brushed, just sanded finish, raw finish, if you would. So you could actually polish this all the way down and do a finish like that's on the H2. It's just a lot of work, and I kind of like having a little bit of difference between this and the H2 exhaust. Well guys, we have run into quite the problem here. I've actually read about this problem on earlier models and I thought they fixed it, but I guess not. So the issue is the exhaust won't go on because it's contacting the rear set, which this is the stock rear set. This is not aftermarket. The headers are off of an R1, but it's the exact same as the MT10. I have this as far down as I can on this bracket and nothing is tight. Everything is just finger tight right now. I can't even get that on there because it's contacting so much, and I'm not gonna rub it and, you know, mess up the actual end can on it. So what I am gonna do, see how this mount, you can bolt it. I'm gonna loosen these up, take this mount off, put washers between these, and that should gap this part over here down far enough so that the rear set won't be touching it. Now I do plan on putting aftermarket rear sets on this bike so that the position isn't so low. So that should go up and back and not be an issue later on. But just something to keep in mind, stock rear sets, you may have a fitment issue, which is odd. Well guys, I went ahead and bolted it down off camera. It was fighting me like crazy. So this is what I ended up doing. I put 3 washers on each side up there, and I also put 3 washers in between there. All of that, pulled it as hard as I could that way, and then tightened the bolt down and tightened all the mounts down. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like not even, maybe 1/8 of an inch of distance between the back of the rear set and the exhaust. So it does work. You do have to do some shimming. I don't know why. It's a freaking expensive exhaust. I think this exhaust is like, I don't know, $1,100 for this little belly exit, which is, it's super nicely made, but I mean, you shouldn't have to do that to make this exhaust fit correctly. Now, if you have aftermarket rear sets and they're higher or something like that, fine. You know, easy peasy, it'll fit, no problem, most likely. I'm not guaranteeing that, don't take my word on that, but most likely. Which I am gonna do woodcraft rear sets on this, so that should bring it up and back and make it easier to clear, which at that point I'll take all those shims out. But just something for you guys to think about. I went ahead and wiped it down like I do with all my exhausts with alcohol, just to make sure there's no fingerprints on it. So let's go ahead and start this bad boy up. cat system installed on the FZ10. It sounds absolutely rowdy. Videos don't do it justice. It is way, way louder than the Akrapovic mid-pipe by itself with the stock muffler. And I have had the Akrapovic with the Akrapovic can on my 18R1, way louder than that too. Install was kind of tricky. I thought it would be pretty straightforward, but for some odd reason, this had some fitment issues, and my Akrapovic didn't, so something to think about when you're buying these systems. But like I said, easy workaround, a couple little bit of washers or shims, whatever you want to put in there, and you're good to go. So as always, leave a comment, drop a like on the video, and until next time, guys.